one big item that was unexpected as of 2 weeks ago today, because I got a phone call from someone that I trust immensely, and I was told, hey, you know what, Ezekiel Elliott, you better poke around on this. He's telling people that he is planning to hold out from training camp.
And then you texted me, right? You texted me,
yeah,
I think.
I said, hey, because let's give folks the history here.
Right.
We've been saying all offseason he needs to hold out, and he's done nothing before holding out to indicate that he was willing to do that. So that's when this all started to become a little bit real, and I started to follow it. I started to poke around, and lo and behold, when last Thursday came and went, he was not with the team when they flew from Dallas to Oxnard, California for training camp. Friday, he did not show up. The holdout is now real, and who knows when this is going to end, but Elliott using the tool that's available. And here's the thing, and I don't want to hear, oh, he's violating his contract. He has a contract. Folks, there are two contracts that apply to every player. The contract that the player signs with his team and the contract between the NFL and the NFL Players Association. And that broader agreement gives every player the power to hold out, because the only consequence is he can be fined. And if you accept the fact that you can be fined, and for Elliott it's $40,000 a day, if he's willing to incur that responsibility financially, he has the power to hold out. Every player under contract has the power to hold out, because there's nothing in the labor deal that says they can force you to show up or they can shut you down for the full year if you're not there when camp opens.
Right.
So he has the right to hold out. He's doing it. He's exerting financial pressure on the team. This is a one-man strike, plain and simple. And we'll see how long he stays away to get what he believes he deserves, what he does deserve from the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep, he does deserve. He deserves to be the highest paid running back in football. That's what he does deserve. So I don't think there's any doubt about that. I'm glad to see that he is taking this action. I mean, of course, we know, Mike, we talk about it all the time. Running back, the most physically demanding position in all of professional sports. There's just nothing worse than that. I mean, I used to sit back there and hand the ball off to Mike Allstott and Cadillac Williams and see some of the collisions and just go, oh my gosh, I don't know. I think I would have broke my neck 7 times on that one play. How are they getting up and walking back to the huddle and acting like everything's fine? It's a brutal position. Ezekiel Elliott's played it about as good as you can play. They work him to death. The team is orchestrated around the run game and him running the ball and his special talents and his ability to move the pile when nothing's there and do all that. And at the very base, hey, I mean, Ezekiel Elliott's the 10th highest paid running back in football, barely making more money than guys like Duke Johnson, not making as much money as Lamar Miller, Leonard Fournette, Jerick McKinnon, Devontae Freeman. I mean, all of those guys just alone have no business even being close to Ezekiel Elliott right there. So come on, Zeke, stand in there, hold your ground, and the Cowboys got to pay you.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is the way the rookie wage scale is set up, and given the nature of the running back position, teams will get the best years of a player before they have to pay the player. And if you can kick the can, if you can run out the clock, you can get to the point where you've gotten everything that you possibly can. You've gotten great return on the dollars you've invested, and then you just go find someone else. And look, Elliott needs to take that possibility seriously because, Chris, what did they do with DeMarco Murray, who in 2014, he led the league in rushing. He set a franchise single-season record that still stands despite Elliott's time with the team. They said to DeMarco Murray, thanks for everything, see you later, and he had to go sign with the Philadelphia Eagles to get paid. That's what Elliott is trying to avoid. And if he doesn't take a stand, they wait until next year. Then maybe next year they decide to wait until after he finishes his 5th season. Then maybe they apply the franchise tag for a year. But at some point, you're running the risk of them saying, see you later. He's taking the stand now so he can get maximum return for himself at a time when he is giving maximum output to the Dallas Cowboys. And Stephen Jones told me back in May, he's the straw that stirs our drink.
Right.
That was back when they didn't think he was going to hold out.
Yeah.
But that has an impact. Now is the time to get yourself paid. Otherwise, it may never happen.
305 carries, 77 receptions. I mean, and, again, this should be the new thing. I mean, every NFL running back who, is towards the top of the league or a proven commodity 3 years in, you hold out immediately until the NFL can find some other way to fairly compensate these guys to go against, like what you said, where, they're awesome players for 4 or 5 years, and now it's time for them finally to get some new money, but their bodies beat to crap, and now they get lowballed by teams and don't get paid because they go, well, you got abused for 4 or 5 years there. So I really expect this to be a new thing within the NFL as far as especially at the running back position, and I think Ezekiel Elliott has a lot of leverage in this situation. There's no proven commodity at running back really for the Dallas Cowboys, and certainly nobody as talented as Ezekiel Elliott.
All right, so how does this play out? There's a belief out there the Cowboys will blink. We know what happened in 1993. Emmitt Smith skipped 2 regular season games. The Cowboys lost both of them. The Cowboys blinked then, and it worked out.
Right.
The Cowboys went on to win the Super Bowl. No team had ever at that point been 0-2 and won the Super Bowl. Emmitt Smith returning went a long way toward making that happen, and he had 3 seasons in at the time, just like Ezekiel Elliott now. So I feel like at some point the Cowboys are going to give this guy what he wants. They're going to have no choice but to give him what he wants.
I would think so, right? I mean, they're going to have to go that way. They're in the Super Bowl window right now. The Dallas Cowboy team is ready to win the Super Bowl, or at least go to it. You look at the roster on paper, and I know it's on paper, but it's one of the best, most well-put-together football teams in the whole league. So, yes, this is like you said, the straw that's stirring the drink, and this is a team that's ready to win right now, and I would think the Jones family realizes that, and they make him the richest running back in the NFL, and one up Todd Gurley in his contract. By how much, I don't know, but I would think anything north of Todd Gurley's contract is going to make Ezekiel Elliott pretty happy.
Now, the problem for the Cowboys is they have other guys who are due for contracts sooner than Elliott, because Elliott was a first-round pick. They have him for 5 years. Dak Prescott was not a first-rounder. This is the final year of his rookie contract. Amari Cooper was a first-rounder in Oakland. This is now year 5 for him. With Dak Prescott, he said Saturday it'll happen when it happens. He's trying not to be distracted by it. Look, I feel like Dak Prescott's driving a hard bargain with the Cowboys. The Cowboys continue to put value on being the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, but I don't get the impression that Prescott and his representatives are biting on that. They want to get paid, and they look at what he's done, what he's capable of doing. They look at what other guys are being paid, and they're holding firm, Chris. And I feel like if Prescott has to go forward with $2 million in salary this year, the other money that he makes as a product endorser, and the promise of the franchise tag next year or a long-term deal, I think Prescott is content to wait.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's not panicked about it either way. Now, I would think that Ezekiel Elliott, because he's holding out, of course, has been moved to the top of the list. They're going to try to get that done. And then I think Dak Prescott is the next guy on the list. And I don't put it out of the realm of possibility that, this doesn't happen in training camp, but maybe it happens week 5, week 6 during the season when they see, okay, we got things settled as far as the salary cap situation. Dak Prescott playing pretty good. Looks like things are all in the right direction. But, again, he shouldn't take a huge discount just because he's a huge product endorser or anything like that. He wants to be paid fairly for market value, and market value is he's a two-time playoff quarterback in his 3-year career, and he is another. I'm not going to say he's Ezekiel Elliott important to that offense, but he is important, and it's not easy to play quarterback for that Dallas Cowboy offense and the way they play, and he brings some special attributes and has a little bit of a leadership factor, I think, just like a Baker Mayfield, who we've talked about earlier in the show, to where, he is that guy that can lead the offense and be the leader of a football team. So I think it gets done with Prescott, just maybe not sometime here in the near future.
Do you see him as a $30 million a year guy?
Yeah, I do. I mean, yes, for the current state of the quarterback position right now, I mean, yes. I mean, if Jimmy Garoppolo is a $27.5 million a year guy, then damn, Dak Prescott's a $30 million a year guy.
And people freak out when they hear those numbers.
I know.
But remember, the sport supports that.
Yes,
the money is there. The salary cap is $188 million per team. I remember when they started with the salary cap back in 1993, 1994, it was like $35, $40 million per team. You've got guys making that much now individually, in Russell Wilson at $35 million. So, yeah, I think that the Cowboys, they're going to have to pay. They're going to have to pay Elliott. They're going to have to pay Prescott. And then they're going to have to ask themselves, do we pay Amari Cooper? Now, Cooper's going to make over $13 million this year because he's in the option year of his first-round contract. But he's looking at $13 million plus this year. They franchise tag him next year. I mean, they have to keep him around. They gave up a first-round pick to get him.
I know.
For half of a season. They can't just move on from him after one full year after they gave up a first-rounder. So at some point, he's getting paid too, Chris.
I would think so. I mean, he does have the leverage on the situation with what you're saying, with the way he performed at the end of the year and the assets they gave away to get Amari Cooper. But I think he has at least a little less leverage than Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott as far as just asking for a huge guaranteed lump sum and a big contract, just at least at this point, just because, there was that little blip on the map in 2017 where, it was not a good season for Amari Cooper. And the first 6 games of the year last year with the Oakland Raiders were not very good either. So, I think he's realistic in knowing he needs to put a few more games or good games on film before he can start commanding big time dollars. And I think the Dallas Cowboys would probably want to see that too before they're really willing to commit, Odell Beckham Jr. or what may be Michael Thomas type money at the wide receiver position here at some point in the future.
Hey, Amari Cooper told me a few weeks back that he's shooting for 2,000 yards this year. If he gets 2,000 yards, which is highly unlikely, but if he has more than 1,500 yards, he's a guy that the Cowboys are going to have to use the franchise tag on in 2020 in order to keep him around. And for him, he's making much more than either Elliott or Prescott this year, so he can be patient,
right?
As opposed to Elliott, who's holding out, and Prescott, who seems to want to get something done.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.